Powered by Via Net. Make the right connection.
Panasonic is a Japanese smartphone manufacturer trying to make waves in Nepal's smartphone market and have recently announced a mid-range phone Eluga I. So can this phone make a splash in the market? Let's find out in this video. Priced at Rs 16,500, I'm really impressed with how sleek the phone is. It is slim, it is good looking, and most of all doesn't feel cheap. Although it is all made from plastic, the surface has a classic look because of the black and white color variation. In terms of screen size, you get a 5-inch 1280 by 720 IPS display. The screen is sharp and good enough. These days, 720p doesn't look like a lot, but on a 5-inch display, it still yields a pixel density of around 300 pixels per inch, which to my eyes looks pretty sharper. Contrast and color shift in this phone isn't bad, especially considering a price tag of mere 16,500. However, the only complaint about the screen is it isn't the brightest of all the screen and there is no Gorilla Glass protection. The Panasonic Eluga I runs Android 4.4.2 KitKat out of the box. There is a Fit user interface layered on top of Android. This user interface is especially intended for one-hand operation. As you can see that I can easily swipe through different apps with my one hand. On the bottom of the screen there are 3 capacity buttons and the one on the left is for multitasking. The notification bar looks a bit different than seen on most of other Android phones. It would have been better if the notification bar was more like stock Android. And about the future upgrades, I don't think Panasonic will roll out Lollipop update in this phone. This is one of the downside of buying this phone. Moving towards the hardware specification, the Eluga I has a quad-core MediaTek chipset with 4 Cortex-A7 processor running at 1.3 GHz. So what does that mean? It means that since the phone has a quad-core processor, you will be able to do most of your multitasking on this phone. Switching between the apps won't give you any issues, but since the processor is built on Cortex-A7 architecture, which is in fact a low performing processor, so when you are doing a heavy single task like playing games or something like that, Cortex-A7 doesn't perform well. Games like Temple Run and Subway Surfers run without any lag. Touch sensitivity was excellent and there was no heating issues. However, playing high graphics demanding games like Asphalt 8 was not pleasing. There was occasional lag and dropped frame rates but was playable at times. The Eluga I comes with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage, of which around 5.4 GB is usable. If you need more space, you can obviously use a micro SD card slot that has been expandable up to 32 GB. Since the back is removable, the battery is removable too. The battery capacity is of 2000 mAh. The battery life isn't the best. With heavy uses, you have to probably charge the phone within 2 to 3 hours. Upon mediocre usage, it might just work for a day. The phone comes with dual SIM, and one is micro SIM and the other is mini SIM. The micro SIM slot supports 3G connectivity, whereas the mini SIM slot supports only 2G connectivity. The Eluga I primary camera is quite good for an 8 megapixel shooter. It can capture decent daylight shots and can record videos up to 1080p. Here are some of the sample of the photos taken from this camera. The phone also comes with 2 megapixel front camera that to some extent does a decent job while video calling or clicking some selfies. So on a final note, Eluga I is a decent mid-range smartphone from Panasonic that few of us are going to regret it. It has got a good 5-inch screen, decent performance and an excellent primary camera. However, if you want regular Android update on your phone, have a look at Motorola's Moto E 2nd generation. Or if you want a phone with a great battery life, have a look at Xiaomi Marathon M3.
Get the fastest speeds on 100% fiber. Via Net, the best thing that happened to internet in Nepal.